Hey everyone, welcome back to the Three Strangers podcast. I am your host, Ryan.
And I am Bill.
I'm Nick.
And we are back to talk about one of my top three favorite movies of all time. It is the movie that Nick got for Christmas from Bill.
Yeah.
Such an amazing Christmas present. It is, of course, the movie Perfect Blue.
This is so interesting to me. Sorry, I just want to like I don't think we should blow past this. Right? He said it's a top three movie, like period.
Top three favorite movie of
top
mine.
Top three movie. Yeah. That's a big statement coming from you. You know, I think we can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well, I will, just to give some quick context because honestly, we're really here to analyze Nick and see what he thought of it. So it's really interesting. In college, I watched Paprika, right, which is another film by this director. And
wow, that's a beautiful.
Wow,
Hmm.
wow, that's freaking
amazing
crazy.
steelbook I got.
So. Okay, so you're a Paprika fan.
Yes. I'm just getting all of his steelbooks.
Okay.
That he has.
Okay. I will say, I thought Paprika was visually stunning. It was not, like, all that, in my opinion. Like, I thought it was, it was good, but it did not, like, I was like, okay, like, interesting, like weirdly exploitative in some senses, if you know what I'm talking about. Everyone that's seen Paprika knows what I'm talking about in that sense. I won't spoil like the thing. And I think I got a little like, okay, this is interesting. It's like, Inception before Inception, but not quite. And like, there's just some stuff I found a little difficult to follow. I was not super excited to see Perfect Blue. When a friend of mine suggested that we see it at a theater in the city, I was like, okay, well, I've heard that, like, these are really, like, the two. I've honestly heard that off repeat, that, like, it's like, you should watch Perfect Blue, you should watch Paprika. And I was like, okay, well, sure, like, I'll go see Perfect Blue, and it blew my mind. I always knew a movie really left an impression on me if I'm like thinking about it more than 3 days after the thing of the film. I thought about this film for like a week, like like images from it would like flash into my mind, and I'd be like, damn, that was a good movie, But Nick, please, what was your thoughts?
Mid.
Oh, like.
Kidding. I'm kidding.
Get my dander.
Oh man. Nah. Something that always drew me to Perfect Blue was you go on these lists of like top 250 movies everyone should see once in their lifetime, and Perfect Blue is on there, and it's the first one of the first like movies you'll see that are Japanese. I think second would be In the Mood for Love, which I haven't seen, but that gets brought up a lot too. It's a different type of movie, and it's a live action movie. It's not animated. And so yeah, Perfect Blue has been in my watch list for a while. I think this was kind of funny. I asked you guys. It was like 10:30 when I asked you guys, like, oh, should I watch it tonight? And I forget, one of you said, no.
No. Okay, no. I will recuse myself. I didn't want you to fall asleep. Not that you would.
That's why I also said, like, if you're going to fall asleep, then no. But if you're going to stay up.
Yeah, no, and I did. I had the energy for it, and I'm glad I did. Because I definitely, like, did not go to bed straight after. I needed to decompress a little bit and really think about how much I enjoyed it. And it was just like, gotta say, it wasn't a rewarding experience to understand what happens at the end. I think there's a lot of like Perfect Blue audiences out there who don't understand or have to like, figure out like what does the end mean, but just the me being working in the mental health field, it made sense. I mean, I probably can't explain every single scene, but as the second half came to a close, it was like, oh, okay. I was only left wondering, oh, where else do they reveal this? And I watched like the last two scenes, because by the end it's like, okay, yeah, that's what happened. But after watching the last two scenes again, it was like, oh no, they tell you, they tell you what happens. It makes sense in retrospect. I can see it clarify it provides like very obvious, like, yes, this is what happened. It's not like, what do you think happened? No, it's pretty definitive. And so yeah, I really, really loved it. And it the first half, I'm still being vague here for before we go spoilers. I was really afraid the first half was just going to be kind of a predictable exploitative film about acting. All of us have acted in our life. We are all like familiar with that trope of, yeah, this is what you got to do to make it big. You just got to keep pushing. Push yourself into an uncomfortable situation, an uncomfortable scene, but do it because the director's asking you to. And I was really afraid that it was going to kind of be a linear story of that, of this pop star turned actress. And then, the second half starts, and it's like, whoa. In fact, I think I'll save up my Letterboxd review. Should I save my Letterboxd review to the end, or should I say it right now?
Is there spoilers?
No. In fact, my Letterboxd review is holy shit, with no caps, and then holy shit. And then the third sentence is holy shit.
As you said, that's your one. Well, it's a few sentences, I guess.
Yeah, it's 3 sentences, 6 words.
That's fair.
I will say I do want to hear. I want to hear actually. Ryan, when did you first see this movie?
Yeah, so I saw this when I was in graduate school, and
so relatively recently. Okay.
About would have been 5 years ago, I watched it for the first time, and I did it for an assignment that I had where I had to teach a music lesson based on something that I care a lot about. And at the time, I was watching a lot of Giallo films. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to write about music in Giallo films and how it inspired, films past the 70s and 80s that take inspiration. And so the first movie that I was going to watch for this assignment that was like past the prime of Giallo films was Perfect Blue, because it's a Japanese Giallo film. And we'll kind of get into that when we talk about it. The thriller element of it, the lot of like the color scheme. There's the way that the mystery unravels, how it gives little hints of what happens. All of that. But I watched this movie with Savannah. You guys know Savannah on the pod, and Austin Michael, and we were speechless after this ended. It was all of our first watch, and you could hear a pin drop as soon as like the credits rolled, like as we just kind of sat there for a few minutes, like just processing what we just watched. We all have given it 5-star ratings on Letterboxd. Like, it's very rare that we all agree on what we're giving something. We might agree like, oh yeah, we liked it, we disliked it, stuff like that, but for all of us to give it 5 stars, and for Savannah and Austin Michael They do not give a lot of 5 stars. That is very rare for them. Then we watched Barbarian Sound Studio after that, and that one wasn't.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you watched Barbarian. Like
no, Barbarian's excellent.
I'm like, give yourself a break. By the way, like, one thing after another. Jeez, Barbarian Sound Studio. Okay.
Yeah, not great. For the paper and for like the assignment and like the slideshow I had to do, incredible. Like it works perfectly for it. As a movie itself, oh boy, I was struggling watching that one. Similar themes of like losing your sense of what's really happening and what's fantasy, what's reality. Not done as well. It really was not done even close to how well Perfect Blue is done. But we're here to talk about Perfect Blue. There's so much to discuss with this film, but some kind of background to lead us into that discussion. Of course, it's directed by Satoshi Kon. It is the first movie that he directed. It was originally his thought. Yes.
Not the first animated thing he directed, but the first feature length. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He did a lot of manga and things like that as an artist. I guess I'll start here instead. It was originally a novel called Perfect Blue Complete Metamorphosis by Yoshikazu Takeuchi. I'm so sorry for how I'm gonna butcher names. I'm just gonna apologize right now at the start. I'm really gonna try with this. It also can be known as the title Perfect Blue Complete Perversion.
Whoa.
Metamorphosis and perversion is the same word. It kind of means the same thing. So the title takes on 2 different meanings, as well as when we watch the film, which is just called Perfect Blue. There are complaints of why it's called Perfect Blue. And Satoshi Kon wasn't one to really give away why he did movies the way he did, but he was so tedious with everything that there was always a reason for everything. And so blue in Japanese culture represents purity. So... we'll talk about how Mima tries to, there's this sense of purity surrounding Mima until an incident. And it's all about trying to regain that purity.
But it's tainted. This tainted purity trope.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I like your explanation a lot better, Ryan. Well, actually, this is kind of just try this one out for a second. So, sorry, I did walk out of the film and I was talking about like the friends I was with and everything, and then I was like, why is it called Perfect Blue? They never really touched upon that. No, I read there was a contemporaneous interview where Satoshi Kon says something to the fact that when you think of colors, no colors blend more together than different shades of blue, so that they're hard to tell apart or something. And so it was supposed to be like a larger thing about honestly a lot of themes of the movie that it's like one person can be many different shades, but then it's like, how do you get the perfect blue? It was something like that.
How do you get the perfectly pure and not pure?
Right. It was almost like a color theory thing. It's not super clear though. It's not super clear. Yeah.
I definitely interpreted it differently. I took it as a juxtaposition, and I think it's because I took this differently because in the DVD, at least the one version that I have, I looked into the scenes or whatever, and their description. Oh no, there's a menu in the DVD with the bloggers' favorite pictures, and the pictures are the scenes in the movie, just like frames in the movie, and some of the descriptions are like a perfect blue sky, and I always thought it was the juxtaposition of all the crazy shit that's happening below a perfect blue sky.
Wait a second. This is right. Wait a second. You've been holding out on us. This is me. Imagine me strangling your neck right now. You've been holding out on us. That's right. You got DVD extras. I had to find that dang USA release. Okay. Was there cool stuff on there? What the heck did you find on there? Was there good stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So,
great.
I mean, this goes into the spoilers territory.
Sure.
Yeah, so here's your warning. Spoilers, watch it. We all recommend it. There's no question.
Yeah.
And no doubt in my mind that we don't all recommend this.
Psychological horror movie. You can either watch it Japanese English dubbed or Japanese English subbed. Find it if you have the opportunity.
Don't do the dub. Do the sub.
I watched the dub.
No, god dang it!
It wasn't an automatic option. I thought it was going to be a Japanese movie of which I've had to do subtitles, but I played the movie, and then it was all in English, and it was like, oh,
Bruh.
so I just thought it was. I literally just thought it was like an English disc.
I'm sure it was a fine dub, but
You need to rewatch it with the sub.
I will.
Yeah.
I
It's
have to
not
say,
bad.
I think
It's
it
not
might.
bad as a dub.
I think it might change your rating. That's all I'm gonna say.
No, I know why my half a star is not. I know what my half a star is. It doesn't have to do with the voice acting.
I'm also 4.5 stars. Oh,
Okay.
interesting. Okay,
All right,
I'm
we'll
interested
get to
to.
that.
Okay, we'll talk about it. Yeah,
Get to
we'll
that
talk
at
about
the
it.
end. It's not
Okay.
huge. It's still an amazing movie.
Right.
So, the DVD, the
Yeah.
menu, the entire interface is laid out like an a late 90s, early 2000s blog.
That is really
And it's
cool.
Mina's room.
No way!
Yes, and you press Mina's room, and it shows my favorite videos, my favorite photos, my favorite websites, and like the video. My favorite videos are advertisements, I think, of actual Japanese movies that were coming out at that time. I think.
Okay. That was fairly common for DVD.
Did Mima have good
movies, you know.
good taste?
I didn't recognize them. Honestly, they looked a lot more like they were anime. They looked like Japanese cartoons almost, not like
Sure.
animated movies. I didn't recognize any, but I don't have an extensive knowledge. The favorite photos, as I said, is really like tailors towards the stalker story, because it's like my favorite pictures of Mina, and so like there's this like air of like creepiness to it. But you can tell it's just like the creator's appreciation for the art that was created. So it was a really, really nice balance of things like that.
That is so interesting, and I can imagine them going kind of crazy with that concept. I don't know if we want to start at the beginning. Start really at the beginning and kind of go through it. But it's interesting to note that although a lot of time is spent with this stalker character, I believe his name is, sorry, it's something weird. Mina is like Mina.
Me-mania.
Fan. Me-mania. Me-mania.
No, isn't it Mamoru?
Me-mania is Me-mania is his on Mima's website. That's what he goes by. Me-mania.
Oh, yeah, Me-mania. Yeah.
So that's kind of the name we know him as, that he brings up a lot, like at the confrontation as well.
Right. Yeah.
Right. I largely view him as a victim in this. Well, maybe we'll kind of get into it, but it's interesting. He's probably the second most interesting character. Actually, maybe interesting. Okay.
You spend the first half thinking he's the antagonist.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
There's this singer and actor who's being stalked by maybe their number one fan, the obsessive fan, which again, not original. It's not an original storyline, right? Like an obsessive fan, that happens. That's a real thing.
Right.
And I don't dock it. That's actually not what I don't dock the movie for that. But you spend the first half thinking, oh yeah, no, he's the one committing all these acts, all these murders that are popping up around the main character.
you know, this is kind of, I guess, to kind of start at the start, right? How do you guys like this initial, like the initial kind of sequence where we are introduced to like Mima's life as like a pop idol? Do you guys know about this in Japan? Like like idols in Japan, like singer idols.
Yeah, I actually wanted to talk about that a little bit. So kind of more broader about the movie, and then kind of going into about this. So originally the movie was supposed to be a slasher, because that's what the novel is, and Satoshi Kon completely changed it to be what it is as we watch it now. And there's a lot of talk about the story of a J-pop singer becoming an actress. This is something that in Japan is a real thing. That is what a lot of singers do. Basically, they are groomed until they become usually around 12 to 13 years old. They have about 3 or 4 years, and then if they're not making a lot of money, then they switch to acting. That's why there's a lot of talk about money and the group after Mima leaves, and why they're all celebrating. You got 83rd on the chart. That doesn't sound like that's big, but for that is absolutely massive, because a lot of them don't even make it to that point to make any sort of money. So that's why there's a lot of talk of image and stuff like that within it, because they're just seen as like, oh, they were a pop star for like 3 or 4 years. Then they can't transition to do anything else, and they just take normal day-to-day jobs, which we'll talk about Rumi a little bit, because that's, what kind of ends up happening to her. But yeah, so this is a story that is super original when it comes out for the time in Japan, as well as just throughout the world. And a lot of this is also based on the story of the singer Selena.
Yes, bro. Sorry, I felt that. Okay, sorry. When I was first watching, I'm like, this is sort of like the story of Selena and her manager.
Interesting. I can make that connection.
Yeah. Okay. But I totally felt that.
But I mean, maybe that's why. I guess that is one of those movies that they show like the things that you push, the push and the pressure to become famous. Of what lengths will you go? That's interesting, but yeah.
And a seeming like a character that is very trusting. The same thing with like Selena, how Yolanda Salivar was very trusting, led her fan club, became friends with Selena, and then one day when she was getting really jealous and Selena confronts her, she shoots her.
Yeah.
That whole story
this one has a little bit of a happier, as happy as you can say it is, ending.
It works out for the main character.
I think, okay, so this is interesting. I was thinking about Selena the entire time, but I also had the caveat in my head that I'm like, okay, this is not like a, Selena, like this is not somebody interpreting like the story like into like what would be Perfect Blue. It would have never reached that part of the world, and I think the timeline doesn't match up with when the book was made. But it is eerily there's like a lot of similarities here. Right?
But again, remember Satoshi Kon rewrote the entire book. Everything would have happened already by the time that that the movie came out.
Interesting. Okay,
and I'd have to look it up, but I think there's an interview where he does mention Selena.
Yeah.
And we can even say there's a lot of inspiration to this movie with Italian giallo films. We're getting all of these different cultures and world things being put into, this movie.
Yeah. Some Spanish, some Italian, Japanese. Yeah.
Even Hitchcock is referred to in like just a few shots of this movie. We could see how he takes inspiration from thrillers from the U.S. And
There's Yes, but honestly, to get at the meat of something, and I'm interested to hear what you guys think about this. I'm like, okay, like I didn't really get this at the time when I was like first watching Perfect Blue, but sort of retrospect, I'm like, oh, interesting. People are not necessarily mad that she's leaving her J-pop idol group, Cham. Right, I did okay for a half. You know what it is? For a half a second, when I saw, you know how she has the poster of the group like over her bed, I was
Yeah.
kind of like, fuck, like I kind of want that poster, and like people who know would know, but they'd have to explain why I have like an anime poster like hanging up in my like, you know, like, and I was like, I just can't do it, I just can't do it. People aren't upset necessarily that she's leaving Cham. People are upset that she's choosing to like kind of like slough off this certain like manufactured image for her, and honestly, even further than that, she's like losing a clean cut image and adopting one that's more mature and more sexualized.
Yeah.
That's the kind of interesting crux of it all, right? Um, I have heard that. I mean, we have seen this in I would say that there has been a lot of discourse recently in America about child actors or quote unquote like younger actors becoming, I mean, and the various things that they have encountered and not great situations that they've encountered. This is interesting though, because like you know, not everyone can make the transition from being a child actor to a more adult one. I'm just interested, where do you guys think this all plays into this story, this whole concept, you know?
That's a good question. I feel like, I mean, I do think there is this truth there where I think like you know, it's a great example. Let's have a Robert Pattinson, right? Infamous, you know, obviously Twilight. He's Edward Cullen, and in order to break that spell, is you have to, in my opinion, you have to play a character that is so vastly different than the character you are famous for, and it has to be good. It has to be good. Otherwise, you fail. That's it. You'll never be more than just a typecast. And I think like Robert Pattinson's one of those actors who has saved his career because of his legendary performances in The Lighthouse, in Batman, or in The Batman. And there's one other one, but that I can't think of right now. But yes, like I think he's had these performances, and to see Mina kind of go through as the beginner and starting off with one line, one singular line in a movie set, while her agent's behind her, back, you know, in the back, trying to get her more and more and more. I think that's like very real.
Yeah.
I mean, that is very, very real. That's the job of your agent. But that's what happens when you're a pop star. You start from, well, I think maybe you used to start from zero. Now, I think there's a bit more star headliner of things sometimes, you know, depending on the marketing, but
a certain cachet, right?
Yeah.
Something else that's kind of interesting is that I think like they're and I actually noticed this. Like relatively early into the film. Mima lives alone, right? Which is interesting. I also had a bit of a difficult time. I don't know if you guys can enlighten me at all. How exactly old is Mima supposed to be?
That's a good question.
Like 1920? That's kind of where I was kind of, you know? Yeah. Like, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's nicer thinking she's older than 18.
Yeah.
Right? Especially when we get to a sexual assault scene of her that's staged. But it's still like it's a little uncomfortable. Yeah, it would be very uncomfortable to think that like a 14-year-old actress is asked to be in a scene like that.
I will probably, unfortunately, I agree with you. I agree with you, right? Unfortunately though, most signs indicate, unless you have something can you enlighten us, Ryan?
From what I've looked up, there is no direct. There, it's not known really. It's not ever told, but the belief is that she is around 20 to 21 years old.
Oh, okay. God.
Okay. Yeah,
I would have
yeah.
okay, I was going to say probably the true answer is that she's like 16, 17 or something like that. But okay, I'm glad to hear that she is older. I know it does tend with the idol groups, it does tend to kind of see her a little younger, but that's okay. Like still not great, but that is really
Yeah.
her
Kind of
parents
like
are
I
not
said
around.
before, how after like 4 or 5 years of being in like the pop groups, usually it's around the age of 18 or 19 that we start to see a transition to acting or to a different career. Because if their
Okay.
career hasn't set off yet for singing, then that's it.
Okay, so you're saying that she's kind of quote unquote an old maid in Cham, and she's supposed to be 20. Like she's
Yeah,
doing
you
other
know,
things.
depending on
Right.
depending on we don't know the age of the other girls as well.
Sure.
And we do see they have some sort of fan base. It's not like they have no one showing up. Like they do have a fan base, and
Oh,
it ends
yeah.
up becoming a pretty decent one once she leaves.
Right. Right. What's really interesting to me, and I think something that sort of pervades the entire movie, Mima really has no support system. There's not really many people in Mima's life that is looking out for her, and I actually realized that like in the first thing of the film, I believe she calls her parents once, right?
Yeah, her
Um,
mom calls at the
Her mom
beginning.
calls. Right. She has like no friends that we see, right? And
Yeah.
that's not impossible. Like she's probably moved to like Tokyo to do this thing, and maybe was spending so much time doing champ stuff that this thing, like there was no social release for Mima over the course of the entire thing. And I wonder, was that like a direction of like the like the film choice, or was it like simply like, oh yeah, like like she wouldn't have had like time to do this anyway, so it was sort of
That's a true thing. That's a very true
Yeah.
thing to artists in Japan. From what like research that I've done, like these, Mima in this case is groomed from a young age to become a singer in Cham by Rumi. So her
Sure.
closest friend, compatriot that we see, is Rumi.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and her support system, which would have been the other two girls at Cham, is ripped away from her since she goes on to be an actress. They're continuing their career as singers. So she gets kind of pulled away from that support system that she has. And we see that when she's taking down the poster, right? Because that's kind of the last time we see them in a room, except for when they celebrate being 83rd on the chart, which she imagines in her head.
Right. It's interesting because I also feel like like as we'll come to find out, her closest confidant at this current post Cham period of time is Rumi. That's a bad person to be your main confidant in this particular circumstance, and in fact, makes it that it's really a problem.
Yeah.
I feel very bad for Mima in this movie. The fact that she is experiencing all these many stressors without much of a like almost no healthy release, so it seems. So
Yeah, and I think that where it starts to add to that, what's reality, what isn't reality, and we kind of start to see that with Rumi as well. This movie does a big thing with flashes of white light, and we see this once we sort of have a bend in reality, or we start to see Mima imagining the pure version of herself, and we see her shrouded in a white light. You could kind of say it's almost like a spotlight in a way. You could say it's like an angelic light. And we see that it sometimes represents Rumi portraying Mima, as well as the vision that she has of herself is what she, is it what she wants to do. When she's on the train, when she's in her house, Rumi isn't there jumping off of the building that she's in.
Yes.
That's her imagining that.
This is something, not to get too far ahead of ourselves here. This is something that I do kind of want to like put a thing on. I am going to trace back the root of okay, she's starting to develop a psychosis, right? Mima's starting to develop a psychosis of sorts where she is starting to struggle differentiating reality from fantasy, right? I think that this all kind of starts with the sexual assault scene that she was asked to film for. Like, that was a trigger.
Yeah.
And I don't...
I actually... It psychologically speaking...
I was hoping you'd do this. Okay, yes, please. Yeah.
I wouldn't call it a trigger. I would call it the origin. Dissociation and psychosis commonly originates from sexual trauma. And it's because what happens, right, is when we go through something traumatic, and in this case, even though it was, in the movie, it was an act. It was part of the movie within the movie. So it was, even though it was fake, right, when it was acted, it was rehearsed over and over again, which is traumatizing in itself. But the body dissociates to protect itself, and the nervous system, becomes an armor, and we feel less to protect ourselves from the pain that's actually happening mentally, and in a way, our mind splits, and in the movie, it visually does hit her mental states and her cohesiveness, her awareness definitely splits at this point.
And it's not even just her, it's Rumi. They both have that split there.
Yeah, and that is where my only criticism comes, is why Rumi has DID, which is this dissociative identity disorder, formerly known as multiple personalities disorder, of which we take the personality of somebody else or something else. I mean, do you guys interpret it that way, where Rumi having to watch her film that scene? I wonder how you guys... I have an idea, but I wonder how you guys interpret that.
Well, sorry, not to skip too far, like go out of the thing here. Rumi was an idol herself, right? Rumi was an idol herself. I am gonna go ahead and say a larger, like an overarching thing here. I know we've kind of slipped in and out of spoiler territory here. To just kind of put a fine point on it, Rumi is the person that is terrorizing Mima. It is clear at some times, it is not clear at other times, what she's influencing and when. But in this particular instance, during the sexual assault scene, like Rumi has to remove herself from the situation, right?
Yes, she does. Yes, she walks out.
I almost think it has to be one of two things, or maybe three. Is Rumi so affected because she views Mima as herself, insofar that, and I know we're gonna get into the whole thing later where Rumi is pretending to be Mima at some point, but is she that level of detached from reality the entire time, or is it no, you are me, just younger? This is hard for me to watch because I'm literally imagining that this happening to me. Did something like that happen to her in the past? It's left kind of beautifully unclear, but it's clear that what seems like concern for Mima's situation on Rumi's part is actually just this sort of, reaction to a twisted perversion of what she thinks Mima should be, right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's interesting in that way. I'm interested to hear your thoughts, though, Ryan.
Yeah, so this is a trend in a lot of Giallo films where a lot of times
The Giallo.
Yep,
Okay,
we're
okay,
bringing
okay,
back
no,
the Giallo.
Okay,
And
go
like I
ahead.
said, there is so many like things that connect this movie to Giallo films, with sexual assault being one of the biggest. In Giallo films, a lot of times the murderer or the main character has something happen to them. It might be, sexual assault. It could be a whole bunch of different reasons. Normally, it is some sort of sexual trauma that happens, which will either lead them to kill, or that will lead them to start to spiral out into what is real, what isn't real. And we see it from both perspectives in this movie. Now, for Rumi's perspective, she sees Mima as pure. She sees her as herself, right? She was a pop idol herself that was a failure, and then was decided to go into managing. Discovers Mima, grooms her to become the next big thing, and that's why we see how close she is to Mima. She is basically, to our knowledge, always there until the moment where Mima says, "I am leaving Cham, and I'm going to pursue being an actress," which Rumi does not agree with. She wants her to stay a pop idol. She says it multiple upon multiple times. When she's an actress, when we see her, she only has one line. She isn't doing too much yet. Rumi's like, "Why would you leave to become an actress when you're only getting one line? This doesn't make sense career-wise why you would do this." It isn't until we have the first moment where we find out that they want Mima to film a sexual assault scene for the television show that she is on, where Rumi is like, absolutely not. Like, this will destroy your image of a pop star idol. Which we know that is what Rumi wanted. She wanted to be that, but was a failure. And then seeing this actually happen being filmed is so heartbreaking to her, because she pictures, herself when she was a pop star idol. She now sees the next person that she trained specifically to be a pop star idol experiencing this, that it destroys her reality. And to the point where she starts saying, "You're not the real Mima. You are not pure. You are disgusting. You are not the true person. I need to fix everything so that I could keep up your perfect image to the public," which is why the writer is killed. Why then the person who takes her photographs is killed. And
Mina,
we
being
even
a pop star is your dream.
yeah,
Now,
exactly.
It's like interesting. What's really interesting and something I don't want to gloss over though is that and something that I had to be like, oh, interesting. Rumi, this isn't like something that like it's not like the sexual assault scene is filmed. Rumi sees it happen and is like, okay, now I'm going like crazy over. Like now I'm like really kicking it into high gear with like how perverse I'm gonna be. The whole fan page that, and this is something we kind of, at the very beginning of the film, as soon as, Mima kind of makes this decision, as encouraged by her other manager, who is, Rumi is only just so happy to dispatch after a certain fashion. Really. There is this, this blog. There's like this blog page that's like a fan page for Mima that is, we are led to believe as a viewer at the beginning of the film that it's being run by this guy Me Mania that keeps showing up, and Me Mania is supposed to be who you believe to be the primary antagonist of the film. Now, I have something interesting. Me Mania, I thought that like something, he was like physically deformed in some way.
Yeah.
He just looks very strange, I guess, right? I guess, like, I thought they were going to do something with that. However, we're led to believe that this fan page is being run by MeMania. That's not true. MeMania is just a reader of the page. The fan page is being run by Rumi. That's how like, you know, these diary entries are so specific and so thing. And I believe it was revealed that she's running at like the very end of the movie before the climax of everything. But yeah, how did you guys think? I mean, I felt for hook, line, and sinker. I didn't see it coming at all that MeMania wasn't like, because he has like a naturally creepy presence, and he is like there but not there. You know what I'm saying? Like I really believed him as a villain.
Yeah, you know? It took me seeing him die. That was it. I really was convinced, and then it was like, oh, he's dead. Like it's like, oh, it's not him at all.
No, he's just a pawn.
He's just a stalker. He's just a stalker on the internet who's obsessed with Mina. That's it. And he reads that avidly. I don't know. I'm actually, I don't. Maybe I have to rewatch it twice, because I do know, you know, I do agree with that. Like, Rumi was the only one who knew Mina so well, and that's why she posted things. But I you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, I guess I do a really good job at like showing frame to frame, like he's typing, but it doesn't mean he's talking, because the person who's talking is Rumi, who is using Mina's voice. Put a couple X there. Yeah.
Well, no, they're sending an email back to each other. They never talk to each other.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
They're just chatting. Yeah,
they're just chatting, and she says like, "Oh, like that's a fake Mima," and we see, because after she takes the Mima takes photos, very sexually explicit photos. For a magazine.
That was shocking. Almost as much as the. So you know what it is? I love and hate that scene, because I'm like, oh, just like, you know, I imagine, like, you know, if you're feeling pressured in a photo shoot, and like if that's maybe on the table, how like somebody that's like renowned, quote unquote, as like a photographer, like encouraging you to do certain things. I could totally see that shit happening. It was painful. It was painful to watch.
Yeah.
You know,
and how he buys all of the copies of the magazine, which you think is because, oh, he's a creep. No. He's doing it because, again, that pure image that he wants to have. Right? He doesn't want anyone else to see her like that. That's why he rips the copy from the other person. And when he's corresponding with Mima, you know, he's like, oh, I love you, like all this stuff, but she's like, we need to get rid of the impure one. He's like, I agree with you. Mima would never do any of this stuff. So he's so disillusioned with reality that he thinks that is a fake Mima that is doing all of this stuff.
Ryan, I'm gonna be so real. I think he can be a creep and also be.
Oh, well, yes, but
yes,
but we never see anything to where, until like the end, when he's in the chase with her, where he starts like doing weird little creepy things.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's obsessed with her. Like,
yes,
it is. I think I would say objectively creepy. I don't know. Because it's got that classic, like, oh, he's got her pictures plastered all over his walls. Obsessed with her singing persona and the pure persona, like you're talking about, in a creepy way. But but then, like, in his mind, he's the savior of, like, her purity. Like,
exactly.
Also felt,
Yeah, sorry, to be clear, I also want to exonerate myself a little bit here. I think I might have referred to MeMania as a victim. Well, I'm not gonna be like, I'm not a part of the MeMania. I do not follow MeMania's room. I do not follow his room. Sorry, he was very quick to take up violent means to end a person's life. So
bro was driving the truck.
MeMania was not. Yeah, he's not a good person. Not a role model.
He stabs as though it's he's the pizza guy, right? At some point, or is somebody?
No, Rumi's the pizza guy that
Oh, Rumi's
kills.
I know
Rumi's the
if you're-
pizza guy in that. Okay,
Yeah,
in that scene.
to get in.
To get
Yes.
in.
Sorry, I was confused. I was confused about that too. I thought that it was like Rumi making Me Mania do stuff. No, it was pretty much. The only reason Rumi was using Me Mania to specifically target Mima is that like Mima would be like, "Oh, Rumi, what are you doing here?" Like you know what I'm saying? Like she needed like a second agent to come in to
Yeah.
take
Yeah,
care of
to
that.
our not, Me Mania has not killed anyone.
Right.
You know, we assume
Yeah.
he is the one that does the letter bomb. He does the hit and run for the guy at the
Oh, yeah, the
beginning
truck.
who is not just the truck, the hit and run of the person at the beginning who was interrupting the concert. And
Oh,
then there's the
yeah,
shot
yeah.
in the elevator of hit and run. He is in critical condition, not dead. He has not killed anyone. Any murders that happen is Rumi.
I don't want to sorry, and you saw this film way more recently than either of us, Nick. I know that the whole Me Mania assault on Mima begins after they wrap on filming Double Back.
Yes.
The series. Now, am I misremembering that the fatal blows that Mima deals kind of to Mimania happen on the same kind of stage area that the sexual assault scene happens? Am I misremembering that?
I do
Or
believe
does-
it's the
or does it?
same.
It's the same.
Okay, so what's that all about? that wasn't a mistake, right? You know what I'm saying? Why
And
did they
then
do that?
after she delivers the blow to him, it then flashes to her on the set of them all cheering, saying, like, "Woo, good take, good take." And then it flips back to the reality of her in the ripped clothes, Rumi running into her, them
Yeah.
going to the set, and he's gone.
Right.
The body's not there anymore. So you're like,
Right.
oh shoot, is he still alive? What happened to him? No, we then see a shot later on. He is confirmed dead.
Right.
Who killed him? Did Mima kill him and Rumi take the body? Did Rumi kill him? What happened?
I
don't know.
remember there is a particular sequence. I don't know if we've ever talked about this a lot in as much as we talked about horror. Something that really works for me in horror films, especially in films where people are starting to lose sense of like reality, is the idea of like losing time. If that makes sense, like, and there is a particular sequence of events in Perfect Blue where it's like she's at her house, she's filming, she's like doing something else, she's at her house, she's filming, but it almost seems like she herself has become unaware of like the timing of events and everything, and then what shows up in her closet but seemingly
A
bloody bag and materials linking her to the murder of Mimania. As we know, gaslight extraordinaire Rumi is placing those there,
It's
but
staging it. It's
but
very-
is staging it, and this, as much as I like this scene, does bring a bit of a question to my head, and maybe why, like, even though this film works incredibly well for me, I'm just like, maybe this is my half-star removal moment.
Yeah.
I am a little confused, and I think they play fast and loose, sometimes to very good effect, sometimes to a slightly disappointing effect. This idea of what is Mima aware of with what is happening in reality, and what is she not aware of? Like,
Yeah.
it's just a little interesting to me. I'm just a little confused about where that line begins and ends. I understand that that's like a central point of the movie, and like there's like mechanics that you could like if I probably watched the movie again. Like hell, I could watch the movie and be like, oh, I actually do understand, like, like various things. Not that it even has to. Yeah, it has to keep its own internal logic the entire time. I'm just finding that in these later sequences, specifically surrounding the murder of Mimania, kind of everything surrounding that, just like they are almost, the movie just like it just stress cracks a little bit under its own weight of its concept. But that is, but to be clear, I'd love to be proven wrong. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So
I'd say I chalk that. I agree with you, but I think I chalk that up to, because at that point I doubted, like I thought, oh, maybe it is Mina. Maybe
Right.
Mina is just disassociating. Maybe she has DID and her orders, as the quote unquote personalities are called. Maybe it's her orders who are killing. But I think it's also just to. It's this forced perspective of for the audience that you truly don't know what's going on until she does. I think I could chalk it up with that. I don't know. What about you, Brian?
Well, I want to ask you guys a question that'll kind of...
Sure.
Okay.
Have you guys ever taken a nap during the day and you're like, oh, I'm going to sleep for like 20 to 30 minutes, and then like you wake up in the cold sweat and you're like, "Boo!" And it's like dark out and like, and any sense of what is happening, like what happened during that time you're out, is out the window?
Uniquely terrifying experience. I think I see what you're getting at, but go ahead.
Right? So now imagine this in Mima's perspective of she doesn't know where she is. When she wakes up, she's in a cold sweat. She's wearing the same thing most of the time. We're like, is this the same shot as before? Is she imagining this moment again? And then, oh wait, no, she's on set. Oh wait, she's with Rumi having a conversation with her. Oh my gosh, she just woke up again, right? So I think there's a point, right, where you say it kind of like cracks under itself because of what is happening, what is real, what isn't. Where is any of this being connected? What is the through line? I think that's the point, right? That she truly has no idea herself what is even real anymore, which she even constantly says herself, is this real? Am I awake? She breaks like the cup in her hand and it's bleeding. She's like, oh, did that happen? Like, am I actually bleeding? Right?
So she's truly okay.
Yeah, she is truly, as the kids say, lost in the sauce.
I guess. Okay, maybe I don't wanna like step on toes, like or step on any kind of like. I feel like this actually comes up quite a lot. This idea that I'm like, okay, like, psychologist Nick. Sorry, psychologist, right?
Not psychologist, but a mental health professional, mental health counselor.
Sure. Is it like possible, like, and sorry, speaking of somebody that does not, I do not have as much knowledge as I probably should. Like, can you get to this level of questioning reality and like, can you come back from this? Like, where you are like, or is this kind of like a larger mental illness? I don't want to put this upon you, but I am interested to know if there's any context you can provide.
Yeah, so that's the part that I get stuck on at the end. Is like, oh, so Rumi has DID and she's hospitalized for it.
Yes.
But somehow
she's locked away.
Yeah.
Essentially,
she's in a residential program where she'll be for life.
Right.
And Mina is somehow okay. Like that's why like
thriving.
It's
thriving.
Yeah. Okay. I think Mina has. That's why at the end I don't think Mina is like hallucinating or disassociating as much as we are led to believe. She's just traumatized, is what I take it as, and like her waking up in cold sweats, that stuff. I mean, your unconscious, where your trauma can be stored, where it has been stored for her, takes control when you're asleep. And I think that's how I interpret the all those scenes where she's waking up. So yeah, you can recover. Yeah, I mean, it does make sense that somebody could recover from that, and it is also very appealing to, say, a professional actor, if you get used to being or seeing yourself as other people and then using those in your roles. I think
Whoa.
I don't think it's a far stretch to kind of connect identity disorders and actors. So
Whoa.
yeah, to answer your question in long ways, yeah, I do think she could recover from it, and it makes sense. Also, the very last scene is just such a corny ass scene at the end of a serious as fuck movie.
This is sorry, if we could just put a quick pin in that, because I agree. It actually really, that it's a little upsetting. But I think you just enlightened something for me that's very interesting. I just want to dial it back. One more to come here. So we're saying that IRL, even though she was set up in such a way, Mima actually did kill Me-Mania. Like, that happened. Like,
we don't know.
Me-Mania tried. Interesting. Because
Right, because something I bring up, and I want to.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to cut off Bill,
No.
Bill, with this.
No, I like this. Yeah, please.
When she hits him with the hammer to the cranium, and he falls over and like dies, is there any blood that you see?
No.
There
No.
isn't.
The
But-
only time you see blood is when he is confirmed dead, but it's to a similar spot where the blood stems from, which is that part of his face. So why in that moment, when the movie always will have blood, no matter where the slash is or anything at every single moment, why specifically there is there no blood?
Okay, so no, okay. I'm remembering this a little better now. I'm remembering this a little better. I think that, right. Wait a second. Okay, I'm misremembering that scene slightly. Because, right, there's like a bludgeon, which maybe leads to like a knockout, but later, presumably, is it shown? Sorry, my most recent review was about 2 months ago. Sorry, Rumi kills Me-Mania for failing.
Again,
Right.
we don't know, but it's you assume yes, it's
That's
Rumi.
how I interpret it.
It's
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
yes.
how Rumi
okay.
was killed
I
because
agree
of
that it's probably Rumi. It's never full on. The movie never confirms that it is her, but it's maybe a 2-minute movie time from where we see him get bludgeoned to where he is then confirmed dead with the other manager.
Interesting. That's fine. I would call like a little like, oh, so like, Mima has, no, like this entire experience, she just gets to walk away, clean. Although it would make things a little messy. It's like,
But
so you killed him
I do
want to
ask,
like,
but is she fine in the end? Because, we
She-
see that she puts the image up that she's fine and that she looks into her car mirror and says, like, I know this is real. But then, what I brought up before about the white flashes, that's how the movie ends, on a white flash.
Yeah, this is my pinpoint. Here. I am realizing over the course of this conversation, it doesn't seem in fact that she's not fine, right? She's not okay. She's just pretending to be. I'm really thinking that now that we're really honestly discussing it with you guys, that is something that illumination. Because I'm not gonna lie, Nick, I was like, oh, this was really like this ending's like so disappointing. It's so corny. And then I think she even like says something. Doesn't she say something like like no, I'm the real thing, or
Yeah.
something like that?
She goes, "Don't worry, I'm the real one." I think.
bruh.
Is that what she
Rumi-
says in the English dub?
Oh yeah, in the English dub, she goes, I think it's like, "Don't worry, I'm the real one."
And that's the shit that Rumi's saying the entire goddamn film, right? You know what I'm saying?
It's
You know what I'm
different
saying?
than how she
Well,
says it in the
yes.
Japanese sub.
I think
Oh.
I think in the Japanese sub she says like, "No, I'm the real thing," or something like that, right? Like I'm the real one. Sorry. Interesting.
But Rumi is in the home though. She's
Well-
there visiting Rumi.
Sorry, I'm not trying to be like that is actually Rumi that is in the thing. I'm trying to be like now the madness of like who are you really has now like almost internalized itself in her.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like,
Mina's
I'm the real
identity
one.
crisis
And
is
it's
now
not
like
it's not cute, right? It's not cute
Yeah.
and nice. It's dark. There's something wrong with her
yeah.
that she's hiding now permanently for the rest of her life, and presumably, right? You
Yeah,
know?
and probably a lot of survivors of traumatic events, we walk past people all the time, whether it be if we're going to a game, we're going to a sports game, we're going to the supermarket, we don't know what's happened to people, right? But to us walking around, we were probably like, oh, like they seem fine, right? So she could put up the image when she goes there, brings her the flowers, checks on her that no, she's doing fine now, but is she really? That is something really traumatic that she went through. The person that she trusted through most of her life tried to kill her, tried to impersonate her. She was, she's dealing with this trauma from this sexual assault that it wasn't real in terms of it didn't actually happen to her literally. It was for the TV show. Then she has a moment where she's almost sexually assaulted. We assume, we don't know if that's actually happened. We could assume probably with the ripped clothes and everything, but
Yeah, that's the safe assumption that the stalker does try. Mimania just tried to.
yeah, she still has to deal with that, and she got hit by a car. She got hit by a truck.
Yes.
That's a lot of trauma.
I wanna maybe reel back just one more time just to fully kind of, because I'm interested, this whole climax scene, like how did you guys feel about it? Did it shock you? We almost come from the whole Me-Mania assault situation. We're almost directly launched into the climax once she realizes where she is, right? Where she realizes what's been going on. And I'm not gonna lie, she kind of wakes up and kind of finds out extremely quickly. This place that she's in, that Rumi took her to, looks like her room. But it's not quite her room. It's her room as it was before.
Yeah.
So interesting. Yeah.
And we see it with the fish, right? She notices the fish right away, and we saw they were already dead.
Alive.
And
Right.
that's
Already
when
dead,
that's her
so
first
yeah.
sign of, oh, where am I? And she pulls the blinds from the door and sees it is completely different from her place. So she instantly clocks, I am not home, where am I right now? And I love the chase sequence that follows. I think it is such a good chase sequence.
It's really scary. I know that sounds weird. I think I've had dreams like this where like I have to obey the laws of reality, but like my killer doesn't. My
Yes,
my
and
would-be
we see
assailant doesn't.
that's why I love this chase, and we see the shot of
Yes.
like Mima floating in the air like as she's chasing her, but then we see the mirrors in the back of Rumi full on sprinting, like sweat pouring down her
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
Right.
And at that
Right.
moment, we're seeing like, I mean, there's so many ways to interpret that. We're seeing the parallelism of, you could say poetically, like, oh yeah, this is Mina's purity running after her. But no, it's also Rumi's perception and adoration of Mina's purity running after her, that she feels like she embodies. And it's almost at that one point where we are seeing the perspective of Rumi for the first time, at the same in the same shot as Mina,
Right.
and that's like why when I rewatched it, I had to watch the last two scenes again, because I wanted to ask myself,
Cool.
like, how obvious is this that this is Rumi at this point? And it's like, oh, actually, there are many signs that they give you that it is indeed Rumi. It's no longer the alter ego. It's no longer like the identity crisis that Mina is having.
Something else I want to add two things. One, we see Rumi's world shatter with the on-screen sexual assault that happens for the TV show. The second time where we see her go off the deep end is after Mima is sexually assaulted, potentially by Me-Mania.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, harassed
So-
at that point.
Yeah.
At that
at
point
least.
is once she's fully off the deep end, and when she's like, I'm going to basically, she's going to kill Mima.
Right.
But I want to say there's one hint that the movie gives of who the killer is. And
Okay.
it's a very small detail. It's when Mima is at the photo shoot. It flips with the Cham concert that's going on between
Yeah.
the two singers, but we see Mima there with the white light around her, and we see in an earlier shot before we see her
Yeah.
that Rumi is there, and she is the only other person there.
Okay.
And then she goes out, and all of the audience is like, who is that? Like, who is that person? That is the only hint that they give the entire movie that
Wow.
Rumi is the other killer.
Wow.
That is the killer, besides, Me-Mania doing all the stuff, but that is the only hint. And we know that she's really there because the people reacting saying that, as well as the other Cham singers, says something like, what are you doing?
That is some
What
deep,
are you doing?
right? And
That's
we know,
quick.
we
Because the
know-
song's also... Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm just saying because we know that she has a Mima outfit, and so she's probably like, wait, like what is this, like some sort of like joke? Like yeah. But it doesn't immediately give her away as somebody that's not supposed to be there. You know?
Yeah, and that's pretty quick and hidden because the music, I believe, is also playing over that, right?
Very
Yeah.
quick.
During it?
And it plays the kind of theme of when Mima loses reality, that like that plays in the background. Something we haven't talked about. The music is incredible in this.
Yes, very,
Yeah.
very, very atmospheric, very, very spacey, like very like just not like the music lends itself to an atmosphere that you don't know when things are happening in sequence or in reality or not in reality. It works perfectly for the movie.
Do you guys catch... My last thing is, do you guys catch, in the Japanese version, what the name of the movie is that she's shooting?
Double bind.
TV
Double Bind.
series
Double Bind. Okay, so it's
Like,
I
do they
think
call it
that's
something
quite a...
different.
No, in dub they call it Double Bind. I think that's really well done. Because it's like right on the nose of like, oh, the identity crisis. It is a double bind with her actor self and her pop star self, but also the being not only being bound to those two identities, but also there being two people who believe that they are Mina, and only one of them is Mina. That is like, that's I think it's really well titled.
Pretty poetic, right?
Yeah.
My final thing, just because you guys inspired me so much on this, I just did like a quick like glance of like the last few. I'm kind of running two ships at the same time here. I just like wanted to be like, okay, like our kind of theory that this Mina that we're seeing, like some period of time has passed where she's visiting Rumi at the hospital. First of all, very generous of her to be visiting somebody who tried to kill her in the hospital, like very, very, very kind of in action and in action tried to kill her. But there's some interesting dialogue at the end, because obviously she's visiting Rumi, and she's leaving, and two nurses are like, wait, isn't that famous actress? Right? Isn't that famous actress like Mima?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, that can't be her. Why the hell?
Why would she be here?
Why would she be here? Right? Like, you know, like she has no like business being in this, like, you know, like in this long-term like facility, right? Long-term care facility, and she overhears them. And that's what generates her line. Like, you know, like it's you know, she must be a lookalike. The real Mima would never, you know, have no reason to visit this institution. That is when she gives the line, "No, I'm the real thing." Interesting, right? Like, you know, like it's and then and also like weirdly. Maybe, okay, this is interesting. I'm 180ing on this quite a bit because I kind of hated this, right? Like, I hated this line and I hated this way they ended it. Who is she doing that to, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like a wall break, right? It's
Yeah,
like a bit
I think
of like
it's
a wall break,
it's the audience.
right?
It's a fourth wall.
And it's almost like it's like, oh no, like it almost is like you're not quite right. Things aren't quite right. Like, you're not completely recovered from this experience. Like, it almost kind of feels like a thing. That actually really improves things for me. I like that. Yeah. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I'm kind of a full support of that theory now. That whole end sequences. I mean, sorry, doesn't it make sense? Doesn't it kind of improve that like whole thing? And that's not a stretch. You know, that's not a stretch to say that she would have long-term overlooked like mental health struggles from this experience, and like, you know, I don't know, just her upbringing in the kind of child to teen to adult entertainment industry. It's interesting. I like that a lot. And you know what? Okay, 5 stars it is. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. Just any, you know, thoughts from you guys? Final thoughts?
I'm curious, Nick, if you were to watch it again with the subtitles, you know, how different it is. Because just from, like, seeing some of it dubbed after, just curious, I was like, I cannot watch this because it changes so much of, like, the line deliveries and everything that I'm curious of how much different your experience will be with it subtitled.
Yeah, there are definitely a few scenes I'm curious about. I'm curious about the chase scene. I'm curious about every scene that happens in the studio where she's filming. And then the first scene. Yeah, because I think honestly the first scene was the only time it felt disjointed with the dubbing.
Interesting.
Because I watched the first scene, it had me thinking, like, I guess this must be, like, it's just a dubbed version. I wasn't really sure. Of course, I find out, like, it was, to get the Japanese version, it was just hidden within the interface of the DVD. Yeah, so I don't know. I will definitely watch again. I'm definitely going to show it to somebody. I hope to show it to somebody.
This is one where it's like, like I said, this is top 3, like, favorite movie for me. I love Perfect Blue. I teach a horror music class, right? This, like, has everything that would be perfect for the class, except it breaks every rule that I have for the class set of what movies I can and can't show.
Yeah, Ryan, it's a very graphic.
Yeah, exactly. No, I know. Sorry. I'm not saying that I would ever show this. It's like, like, you know, damn it, the music is great. Everything is.
Elephant in the room, right? You tend to be showing some pretty on the line movies in your damn class. Do. Okay,
I do.
Like,
I know I can't show this one. Listen, next year.
I'm not show this shit.
Sexual violence, blood and gore.
Listen, next year I'm getting Saw on the list. That's all I'm saying. Saw is going on the list.
Hero. I encourage you. I don't know how you're gonna do that, but I encourage you.
Listen, I got Black Christmas. I could get Saw if I got Black Christmas. That's all I'm saying.
You're not wrong. Black Christmas is yeah, okay, that's a get for a high school class. Yeah, that's a pull for a high school class.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But with all of this being said, thank you everyone for listening to this episode. Thank you, Bill and Nick, for being here. Of course, please watch Perfect Blue. It is currently on HBO Max.
Oh.
And
No way,
Yep.
really?
Yeah.
currently on HBO Max.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's fine.
Okay, wait, sorry. Okay, I just renewed my subscription. No, we are not affiliated with HBO Max. Okay, cool.
No,
I
we are
was
not
just
affiliated with
wondering what's
HBO
in
Max.
Okay.
Joe Bob Briggs with The Last Drive-In did a whole episode on it where he watches it and talks a lot about it, gives a lot of history, a lot of stuff that I learned about it that I kind of brought here today.
Cool.
I learned some of it from Joe Bob, so I always recommend watching that. He does a fun drive-in totals at the start of every movie, which, fun fact, this movie has 19 breasts. So he has that in his drive-in totals, 19. You know, in case you were wondering.
Bear?
It's not separate though. It's you just see them.
It's no, there's a shot where it's just one, you know. So that's where he does it by
Wait,
yeah.
Yeah, it's not like it's not 9 different women's. It's just
It's just
you know,
19
19
total that you see.
Oh, so almost all of them are happening in the sequence.
Yeah, in the photo.
Photography.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, wait a second. There's only 2. Well, I guess there's 2 main women in this film. There's 3. Okay, I was confused about the thing. Okay, that makes a little more sense. 19, you say? Okay.
19.
Well,
That's the number. He's pretty accurate with them. He counts everything. You know, he counts the butox if there is on there. He'll give it. He'll count Wang Doodle. You know.
Awesome. I am praying for our and sorry, you said Jim Bob's?
Joe Bob.
Joe Bob's safety, that Mima is above the age of consent, because holy crap. Anyway, I'm just putting it out there. But salute.
And there's a crazy movie that next year, like when we do our Christmas thing, I know I'm giving one of you guys this movie. And I cannot wait for whoever I give it to watch this and be like, Ryan, what the hell did you just send me?
Listen.
I know that feeling.
I was gonna say, sorry. I just think we need to dwell on this point a little bit. The movie I gave Nick was so fire that we had to do a whole episode on it.
Yeah.
When I was able to discuss such amazing films as I was able to clear that real quick. Anyway.
It's like 10 minutes.
I'm
10 minutes
fucking
for
with
yours.
you. I'm fucking with you, Nick. Thank you for your gift.
No, honestly, I love when we do this. I think it's so much fun. Like, just sending random movies that either we love, that we have thoughts on, that we want another opinion on, whether we just have a weird movie that we're like, you know what? They'll enjoy this one. You know?
Yeah.
I love that we could do that. I'm so excited for what's to come on the podcast. I hope everyone else is. Next episode, we'll see what it is. We'll do it as a little surprise. I'm not going to say what it is yet. Mostly because I don't know what it is yet. But with all of that being said, always remember, if you are losing your sense of reality, you may be in a secret TV show that you have no idea. But isn't life just a TV show?
Okay, Truman Show.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Good.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.
See you.